Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.
You are watching Conversations with Jennylyn, and I am back this week. Like I said last week, if you've been following the series, this week I would be here alone because Mel is taking care of some personal business and isn't available today. And as I continue with this series, I thought this week I wanted to start by saying sometimes knowledge is not power. It is crippling because once you know and you have verified, you cannot unknow what you know. And a certain amount of responsibility comes with knowledge. And so, based on what I have been sharing over the last month or so, maybe more, it is obvious that my life path has been very different to most people. I have been taken on a path that is rare. I don't know too many people who have experienced what I have. As a result, people are judging what I am sharing. But I often say, your judgments have nothing to do with my mission. I do not judge your life. I know lots of people have shared their lives with me, and it's very different than the life I am living. And I do not judge because I realize we are all here on different journeys, different missions for the edification of our souls. And so, having said that, I'd like to continue with what I want to share today. I have not been a perfect human. I have made my fair share of mistakes and more. As a result, I am not doing this series or sharing anything here to make myself sound like I am better than anyone else. However, I have never been someone who would choose to do anything that would cause harm or pain to another person. The thought of doing that makes me cringe. And having started this series that I've been sharing with you, I realize that the person that I am is somebody who somehow leaves a mark. People remember me. And I think they remember me because of the experiences they've had with me. And I say this because I grew up in South America, in a very remote part of Guyana. And the population when I was growing up, tops, was probably 500 people. But we were like a family. It was like a village. And in that time, as I was growing up, it didn't occur to me that we were like a family. But having grown up and left and lived in other parts of the world, I can now look back and see how these people are my family and how the person that I was while they had experiences with me was a result of what they are saying to me now. I have been so touched since I started sharing this series because it's like the offenses that are being committed against me is being committed against this entire village. I have been hearing from people from my childhood, from high school, from all aspects of my life that are ready to take this battle on with me. And that, for me, speaks to the person they know me to be. that this battle that I am fighting has suddenly become theirs. The fact that I'm hearing from some of these people that I don't even remember because they were children when I was a teenager, and they're asking how they can help and want to know who these people are that are committing these horrible offenses to me, that I wanted to share today was to me a reflection of who I have been throughout my life. And so I thought I'd start the segment today by sharing that and thanking every single person that I've encountered along this journey of my life who are now reaching out to me and asking me, why did you keep this a secret? Why didn't you come to us for help? It's sort of ironical now as I think about it, because I didn't go to anybody for help because I didn't want anybody judging me. And now I'm bearing it all here. So clearly, I was instructed to do it, or I may have left the planet with a lot of the people in my life not knowing that I was dealing with any of this. And so you must believe me when I tell you I'm not sharing this because I have nothing else to share with you. I have a lineup of people to bring on my show. But this, as far as I'm concerned, is the priority now because of the frequency, the things are happening, things that are so out there that I and you have never heard of. And it's happening to me, and I'm still having trouble accepting it's happening, although I'm living it. And so I'm instructed to continue sharing. And so I will continue to share until the book is complete. Therein, you will find all that I am omitting when I dialogue with you, when I share these segments. Last week, Mel was here with me, and we shared a lot. And one of the things I said was Sandra Tong's dark magic against me has been rendered null and void, meaning, I'm sure a lot of you know what I mean, but I'm going to explain for those who don't, that she can do what she wants now. It's not going to have any effect on my life anymore. And having said that, the very next day, I went to the grocery store. While I was in the grocery store, I noticed a Chinese woman. Yeah. She is one of the 4 women that I've seen frequently outside of my house. And I knew it because she looked familiar. But then, if I was in doubt as to who she was, the fact that she was literally stalking me in the store was confirmation that she was one of them. She was following me every place I went in the store. This woman showed up. And I started to feel very uncomfortable because some of the vibes I got when Sandra Tong was doing her magic, I started feeling in the store. So then I knew that she was one of them and that she was releasing something on me in the store. And immediately my thought was, oh, yes, yesterday Mel and I shared that she was rendered null and void. And so they're showing us they still have power. So I text Mel and I said, Mel, am I being paranoid? Or is this Chinese woman in the grocery store who is showing up every place I go, stalking me? Mel wrote back and said, who is she? And I said, I don't know, but she looks like one of the women who I've seen outside of my house different times, but frequently. And so Mel said, let me tune into the energy and see what I get. And sure enough, she came back to me and she said, yes, she's carrying a lot of negative energy and clearly is there to release these things on you. And so I decided that I didn't want to encounter her anymore because if I had, I would be tempted to say something to her. So I went over to the deli part of the store, and sure enough, she came up behind me. And I saw her pick up a tray of chicken or something. And I walked away, but I went into an aisle and sort of hid and was watching her. And I watched as I walked away, she walked back to where she picked it up and set it back down. So I knew that this woman was stalking me. Now, my first thought was, are they standing outside my house watching me? Because how does she know that I was going to the grocery store? That thought did not feel good. And I decided if I saw her beside me once more, I would make sure she knew I was aware of who she was and why she was there. So sure enough, I turned around a second time within that same moment, and this woman was behind me. I turned around and I looked at her and sort of gave her the look, like I know who you are, and I know what you're doing. And then I walked away. As I got in line to pay, I looked over, and she's in the line next to me, directly beside me in the line next to me. And I thought, well, woman, you have balls. But guess what? I got more. So I pulled out my camera and I looked straight at her and I took her photograph. She pretended not to notice me taking the picture. I have the picture and I'd love to put it in my book. We'll find out if I can or not. But as I took the picture, and as I zoomed into the picture, her face is dead forward, but her eyes were very scary and totally turned to the side, looking at me. Needless to say, at that point, I got full-on attacks. And thank God for Mel, I walked out of the grocery store and she cleared all of it off of me. And I wanted to share this with you to show you how closely Sandra Tong and her minions are monitoring and stalking me. Sandra Tong, here's my message to you. You've lived off of my essence and energy for enough years. And in the book, I'm going to be putting some stuff that the angels and the guides have removed from your residence, from lakes, from concrete, buried in concrete, buried on trees and the property in the back of your house that held stuff of mine that you were using for your magic. I have compassion for you. You have to be an empty, dark soul to have invested the amount of energy trying to steal what you thought would turn you into me. But let me tell you something. Your best shot will never result in you being me. I am light Sandra Tong, and you know who you are. I don't need to tell you. But this is the last warning. I know you're watching everything I'm doing. Back off, because game over. And dark cannot turn off light. Okay. I continue to get attacked. Sandra Tong no longer has power over my life in any way. But the Dutchman has now turned to his reptilian family, and I get constant reptilian attacks 3-4 times a day. And you might think I'm crazy, but there's a video I'm going to insert here where a researcher researched the reptilian species, whatever they are. And I'm going to put the video of his research on here for those of you who have difficulty believing what I'm sharing, if you care to watch it, because it will definitely explain what I'm dealing with. Now, I know when they come around, I do not see them, but they smell. They do not smell good. The first time I smelled them, I described them as being around dead flesh, because that's how it smells. Sorry, but that's how it smells. And shortly after they come in, I know, because the attacks on my body begins. And so I know they're here. They've come to my work. They've come to my home. They've pretty much stalked me everywhere. And so Mel and I are trying to figure out why they are after me.
That's very rare. That's incredibly rare. Reptiles do not generally come into a house to waste their time with a human. They'll send a grey. But where a reptile does come down, it's because that individual is so important that it requires an interaction from the high level. Again, it depends on that individual. What is that person to them? What is that person to humanity? And they have, for want of a better word, time machines where they can predict ahead what each person will do. And if they see a person is a threat to them, they will attempt to come along, interact with them, and send them off on a different course. There are many, many psychic men and women on the planet who, if left to their own devices, will be incredibly beneficial. And so what the system will do is try and target a disruptive male to get involved with a female or vice versa, and to make that person's life hell. Everything and anything to make somebody not think about themselves. So it's all part and parcel of what happens. What will a reptile do? Well, a reptile will come in, and generally it won't disguise itself heavily, because if it's come to meet somebody, that person is considered important enough for them to be there, and they'll only disguise themselves to prevent that human freaking out.
Goal to sabotage it, because a lot of what I have come for is to take away something from them that is clearly valuable, although at this time I am not sure how. And this is confirmation. But when we know, we will tell you, because I share everything I know that I think would be beneficial. Like I said, I don't care about anyone's judgment. I really don't. And so when we know why, we will tell you. But clearly, they value these souls. And somehow I got intertwined in the mix. But I'm finding out I didn't get intertwined. I came here to do this. Maybe that's why I'm comfortable with it. I have gotten lots of phone calls from various friends who are concerned and who've been telling me they cannot wait until I no longer have to deal with this. I love you all. I love every single human on this planet, including those who are hurting me, because they're playing their part. I don't love them to want them in my life, but I love them because they're one of God's creations and they've chosen to hurt other people. What I want to say is these souls that is so important to these reptilians that they're after me are God's souls. They're God's creations. And based on what I know about the reptilians, which is not much, in their kingdom or their world, the souls are equally important. But I think they want them for nefarious reasons and not the reasons that God intended, is my understanding. And that's all I'm going to say on this. because I do not want to share anything that I'm not an expert on, because I don't want to publish any misinformation, and I'm not an expert on any of this. I can only tell you what I've been living and what I've learned as a result of my experience. I made some notes because I wanted to make sure I shared everything with you that I thought would be pertinent to what we talked about and the situation that I'm dealing with at this moment. I started to say, I am really grateful for those of you who are concerned for my suffering, and it is suffering. But I have told God that if I need to continue suffering to free more souls, I am willing to do it. But I am hoping it's not forever. And so I am surviving. And if you saw me walking down the street, you would never think I am dealing with any of this, because I refuse to give it any more power. Over the last 15 to 20 years, I dealt with this. I didn't know what I was dealing with. And because I didn't know what I was dealing with, it had a lot of power over me. But now that I know, it's a different situation. I'm going to do what I'm told and trust and know that God and the higher powers have got my back. And I have my human angel who holds my hand when I'm burning out and pulls me back to reality, and that is Mel. And she will be here with me next week. I don't plan on doing a very long segment this week. I just wanted to share those with you, and I wanted to make sure that we covered everything with you before Mel comes on with me next week. I have had an experience in this lifetime, and I'm having an experience that if you are watching me, or somehow this video comes across your desk, because I do not promote any of my videos. I put them out there, and I trust that God will get them before those who need to see it. So I never, in all of the years I've been producing television, I never promote the videos. I post them on many social media platforms, but I never really check to see who's watching and who's not watching. Therefore, if you are watching this video and you're dealing with anything similar to what I've been describing, and you think I can help you, please do not hesitate to contact me. And every week, at the end of the videos, I ask you to please like and subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, please like if you enjoyed it, because the more people who like these segments will help me to catapult them before the people and more people, so that hopefully someone who's needing help from what I'm sharing will be able to get it, because I'm extremely strong. Mel keeps telling me I'm a fierce warrior, and I am. And therefore, I want to help those who are not as strong as I am to get through a time like this, if it's something you're dealing with. And so once again, thank you for watching Conversations with Jennylyn. Please like and share these videos. And thank you for all your love and support, those of you who've reached out. And if you have any questions based on what I shared this week or anything in the past, please send them to me and I will ask Mel to answer them when she's here next week. And please watch for the video I'm going to put up on the reptilians that will explain the reason why I think they might be after me. And I will see you next week with Mel. Bye-bye.
Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.